Testing, 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 testing. I need to know immediately if it's working. Yes, audio is fine. Is it working now? It's fine. Okay, cool. Well, I don't know what happened the first time. I apologize. But, well, now I have even less time. I was taking the time to explain on the previous fail attempt that I have a few minutes. I had like 5 minutes to just come hop on because I wanted to watch Victor Chus play against Granada. Now that's 2 minutes away. I guess I can stick around for a little bit longer just to make up for it. And hopefully Victor Chus doesn't score an own goal or a bicycle kick in the first few minutes of the game. But I really just wanted to hop on. Partly because I wanted to welcome you all to Instagram, just in the sense that about half an hour ago, we put out a tweet on the Managing Madrid Twitter account. We said, hey, follow us on Instagram. We're going to try to be more active, live videos. We're going to be posting from the Bernabeu when we go to the games. And I noticed 40 people followed in that short time span. So I wanted to just welcome you guys, say hello. A lot of waves and hearts, and a lot of comments already. I appreciate you guys also. Thank you for tuning in. What's the plan? There's no plan. I'm just basically saying hi and a few minutes of maybe scattered thoughts. If you guys want to ask me anything, go for it. Farhan says Haaland and Mbappe. Farhan, I would answer you by saying, please just listen to our content and watch our content on YouTube and listen to our podcast because we discuss that constantly. Someone says, Alaba available for PSG. From what I understand, he'll be fine for the PSG game. Someone says, Prexina, I think I recognize your name for our Patreon if it's the same one. Hey, Keon, finally you got to join one of your lives. Question for you, what do you think of Madrid's coaching policy? Elaborate on that. Rahil says, how was London? London was one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. I've never actually been there apart from connections through Heathrow. And I absolutely loved it. I will very controversially actually say I like it more than Madrid. Obviously, Madrid is number one because of the team I love is there, and it's super fun and beautiful. The culture is amazing. People are amazing. Nightlife is amazing. However, London is basically a bigger version of Madrid that's more diverse. So sorry for all the Madrileños who are tuning into this. Kirat Mahar says, give us hope for PSG second leg. Marcelo is going to suck. Well, I don't think Marcelo was going to play that game. And to give you hope, I would be lying if I just spewed a bunch of hope to you, but I would say that I'm banking on Benzema and Vinicius being in more match fitness and match rhythm by the time that game rolls around. And as we saw in the first leg, and as we've seen many times in Champions League history, superstars can transcend and trump tactical deficiencies. So that's where the hope is. Ron Nuke says, you single-handedly and the amazing crew carries my Bleacher Report Real Madrid feed. I'm not sure what exactly that means, but okay. Let's see. Rahil says, was great to see you. Hopefully we can have you along. I appreciate you, Rahil. Yeah, I should have elaborated on the podcast as well. The podcast is beautiful. It was not a huge crowd, but it was a very intimate crowd with a lot of amazing people. And I really, really enjoyed that. Someone says, are the Ultras tour coming on Wednesday? I assume you mean for the PSG game, and I hope not. I've seen this. I actually, ironically, am writing about Ultras tour today. Very little section of my upcoming column is about them, and it's not a positive thing about them. I'd rather have a quiet stadium than a dangerous one. Those guys are many things, and none of them are good. Fabian Ruiz for 16 million. We don't need an expensive mid. I like Fabian. I think he's a great player, but what is the purpose of signing a player like that when you have Camavinga and Fede who are already struggling for minutes? Kirat Mahar says, are you worried about next Clasico? And there's a couple other questions about Barcelona. This is a Barcelona that are in a massively improved and better state than they were last time we faced them. And the last time we faced them, they gave us problems too. So am I worried about Clasico? For sure. I think, by the way, on that note, I don't want to go too deep into that because we're going to do a lot of tactical stuff on Clasico in the upcoming weeks, but we're going to save it after the PSG game. But some of you already know this, but if you're in Madrid for the Clasico, please DM us. We'll put you on a contact list because there's a very high chance we're going to do a podcast on the Saturday in Madrid in person. And as you guys know, when we do podcasts in Madrid, all the big journalists come out. So you're going to meet not only me, but you're going to meet everyone who you probably follow on Twitter who are much bigger than I am. So we're all friends. We're all connected. I'm going to invite them out. It's not for sure, but if you want to be a part of that, you'll probably have to pay like €5 or something to help us cover a room cost. It's basically nothing. It's basically just so we have numbers so you can show up and also cover some costs. But please let me know, not here, not in the comments of this video, but DM the Managing Madrid Instagram account or my personal Instagram account at Kion. So 3 minutes into the Chus game, how long should I keep this live video going for? Someone says, do you think Madrid needs to trust its youngsters more? Barca had a rough patch, but now through sticking with their younger guys. Yeah, my stance on this is yes. We put out a poll. I'm sure you saw it on the Instagram post as well. If Pedri had come up in the Real Madrid system, let's say, or, Pedri's not necessarily from La Masia, but let's say if Pedri was a Real Madrid player, would he be able to prove how good he was if he played for Real Madrid? And I think the answer, and most people feel this way, the answer is probably not. He wouldn't have been given the chance. Now, I think timing has a lot to do with a lot of things. If you go back to the most successful youth periods in Real Madrid history, whether it's La Yaya era, whether it's Quinta del Buitre, whether it's figures like Raúl, these players had timing in their favor. They came up at a time where the club desperately needed them. Quinta del Buitre, it was a time where Di Stefano was really struggling as a coach, and the club didn't have a budget, and Di Stefano promoted basically the entire youth team, and it was wildly successful. The Yaya era was at a time where there was policies on only using Spanish players and not being able to sign foreign players, and they were promoted. Miguel Munoz promoted them. Raúl was at a time where Butragueño himself was declining, and Real Madrid had this youngster, 17-year-old, who was absolutely on fire, and he got a chance and he outperformed Butragueño when the torch was passed. And you look at other more recent examples like Kovacic, who just couldn't no longer wait to start, to wait for Modric to decline because that was going to take forever. I think our most relevant parallel right now with Pedri would be Odegaard, who just didn't want to fight for his place, and we got frustrated for that, and he kind of got away. And also, you can't blame him for wanting to leave. It's kind of a double-edged sword. There's no right or wrong. There's no like Real Madrid or right, Odegaard's the bad guy or vice versa. It was just a situation. The timing didn't work out, and I think as much as we all wanted Odegaard, his heart to burst from Madridismo like Lucas Vazquez and play more, fight for his place. That's not necessarily how football works. And not every player is like that, and not every player goes up with Real Madrid family. I have to understand that. So it is what it is. He's gone. But in general, I think the answer is I don't think Pedri would have been given a chance regardless, unless Modric and Kroos just weren't around. And so I think we have a lot of talented Castilla players right now. I think we've had a lot of talented Castilla players in the past, and as most recent as even Marcos Llorente and Achraf Hakimi, who've left, Reguilon, whose timing didn't work out. He may eventually come back. At the end of the season, we have a buyback on him, who knows. But do I think Madrid needs to trust its youngsters more? I don't think it's black and white as like we need to trust youngsters because whether it's a youngster or a very talented foreign player, it doesn't matter. I think we need to trust our bench more. I'll put it that way. I think Carlo Ancelotti rightfully, starts the players he's starting. However, we have a really good deep squad, in my opinion, that we just can't really see thrive that often. I spent too much probably on that question. I could go a lot deeper. I'll take one more. I'm sorry. There's a lot of questions, and I apologize. Someone says, how did I cut my lip with some Vaseline, King? I don't see it cut. But it's true that I'm moisturizing like a motherfucker, and I'm putting a lot of lip balm on because it's Canadian dry winters, which is where I am right now, are insane. So thanks for the tip, Hugh. Some requests to join the line video. I can't do that right now. I want to see if there's a question that is kind of jumping out at me to end this. Bonjour, Kian, ça va? Oui, ça va bien. Merci beaucoup. Koundé or Hakimi. That's the one, I always have trouble scrolling these and seeing, taking the best question because some things come and go. But Koundé or Hakimi, if I had to choose, and there were no barriers. I would take Hakimi in a heartbeat. And with that, I'm going to go watch Victor Chus play, because that's my life. I'm a boring nerd, so I'm going to go watch Victor Chus. Thank you for tuning in. I will do this more often. Someone says, how can I work with you? Well, email me, keon@keonsobani.com, and I can't promise you anything, but I also do have a mentorship program, which I do not advertise anymore. I haven't in like a year because I'm just too busy, and I don't like take too many clients on. But if you are interested in that, you can also do that. Take care, guys. Love you guys so much. I really do. I know people say that, and maybe they won't mean it, but I actually love every single one of you. So believe it or not, I do. Take it easy. Love you. And we will chat soon. And keep it locked on managingmadrid.com and subscribe to the podcast. Hala Madrid.